Welcome back to the deep dive. So, I was looking at some stats the other day about lost deals, and it's that feeling, right? If you're a sales leader, you're looking at the pipeline, and there's that one
Mm.
deal. It's perfect. The fit is right, budget's there, your champion loves you, and then just nothing.
The silence.
The silence, they just ghost you. They don't even go with a competitor, not always. They just do nothing. And it drives business owners absolutely insane.
It's the most frustrating outcome.
It is. So today we're tackling the root cause of that silence. We're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating piece of research from the Sales Experts, specifically an article by Nathan Davis that asks a very uncomfortable question.
Which is,
What stops people from doing business with you?
yes, the question that should keep every executive up at night. And the answer is usually not what they think it is.
Right. We always jump to price or features, or maybe the other guys just had a better slide deck. But this source material, it actually identifies 4 specific barriers. There's worry, risk, value doubts, and then uncertainty.
And one of those is the absolute king of deal killers.
And they say it's uncertainty.
It's uncertainty, without a doubt.
But is it really not price?
Not price. I mean, think about it in the B2B world. If you're a VP of operations buying some huge new software suite, or maybe a CEO hiring a consulting firm, you aren't spending your own money.
Okay, it's the company's money.
Exactly. So if you buy something expensive and it works, fantastic. You did your job.
Yeah.
But if you buy something expensive and it fails,
You look incompetent.
totally incompetent. You could lose your bonus. You might even lose your job. That is the uncertainty barrier. It's that voice in the back of the buyer's head screaming, am I making a massive mistake here?
That makes so much sense. It's personal risk, not just company risk. So, okay, the source material proposes a solution. And I'll be honest, when I first saw the title, Turn Your Guarantee into a Competitive Weapon, I kind of, rolled my eyes a little.
Oh, why is that?
Well, the word guarantee, it just feels a bit late-night infomercial,
Sure.
Or it's that dense legal text at the bottom of a contract that basically says, we guarantee this will work unless it's a Tuesday. It usually feels like a defensive shield, not a weapon.
And that is exactly the mindset that Nathan Davis is trying to shatter. Most companies, they treat a guarantee as like a legal necessity or some compliance box they have to check.
Right.
The argument here is that if you structure it correctly, that guarantee becomes your single strongest offensive tool for driving sales success. It's all about taking that uncertainty, that fear the buyer has, and physically moving it from their shoulders onto yours.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics of this. Because there's a specific aha moment in the reading that I really want to challenge you on. The author proposes this logic check. He asks, don't you already do whatever it takes to make a client happy?
A powerful question, isn't it?
Is it, though? I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate. If I run a service business and a client is unhappy, sure, I'll fix it. I'll put in the extra hours. But I do it quietly, on the back end. If I put that in writing up front, aren't I just painting a target on my back?
That is the fear, 100%. But look at the reality of it. If you're a reputable business, and let's assume everyone listening is running a quality operation, you are already paying the cost to fix things.
True.
If the deliverable is wrong, you fix it. You're already bearing that financial burden of making it right.
Right.
So the source argues, you are doing the work, you are paying the cost, but you are getting zero credit for it in the sales process.
You're keeping your commitment to quality a secret until after something's gone wrong.
It's incredibly inefficient. You're basically asking the prospect to just trust me. And in today's market, trust me doesn't close deals. By formalizing that promise into a written guarantee, you take a cost you would have paid anyway and turn it into a marketing asset that helps you win.
So you're monetizing your own integrity.
That is a great way to put it, yes.
And there's always but not all guarantees are created equal, right? We've all seen those warranties that are 50 pages long. The source calls those meaningless.
Oh, they're worse than meaningless. They actually damage trust.
Yeah.
If you hand a prospect a guarantee that looks like a legal trap, you've just proven that you're tricky.
Okay, so let's walk through the anatomy of a weaponized guarantee. The source lays out 6 specific criteria. The first one is that it has to be unconditional.
And this is the hardest one for lawyers to swallow.
I can imagine. No conditions at all.
None. No, void if seal is broken. No, only if you notify us within 3 hours. If you guarantee satisfaction, it has to be binary. Are they satisfied? Yes or no? The moment you add a yes, but, You reintroduce the uncertainty. And the whole point of this is to kill uncertainty.
But doesn't that open you up to abuse? What about that one client who is just impossible to please? They get perfect work and they just say, nope, hate it, give me my money back.
That is the #1 objection we hear from CEOs. What about the bad actors? But the research and the experience from the sales experts, it suggests this is basically a ghost story. I mean, does it happen? Sure, but it's incredibly rare.
So the math doesn't work out.
Right. You have to ask yourself,
Yeah.
is it worth losing, say, 20% of your potential sales because prospects are scared to buy, just to protect yourself from the 0.1% of customers who might be dishonest?
It's like you're paying a fear tax by not having a real guarantee.
Exactly.
Okay, number 2 is comprehensible. Simple. So simple. If your sales team needs a flowchart to explain it, it's not a weapon, it's an obstacle. It should be one sentence. If you're not happy, you don't pay.
Which ties right into the third point, meaningful.
This one is so critical in B2B. I see companies offer these guarantees like, if we miss the deadline, we'll give you 5% off next month's invoice.
That's almost insulting.
It's totally irrelevant. If I'm a VP and your software failure just cost my company a week of productivity, I do not care about 5%. That doesn't offset my risk. A meaningful guarantee has to hurt the vendor. It has to be painful enough that the buyer knows you are deeply motivated to avoid it.
It shows you have skin in the game.
That's it. Okay, the next 2 are operational. Easy to invoke and simple to collect. This is about removing the friction of making a claim. Right?
Yes, we've all had that experience. You want to cancel something, and suddenly you're on hold, transferred 3 times, the line drops, you have to fill out a form.
The attrition warfare strategy of customer service.
Exactly. Right. And if you do that with your guarantee, maybe you save the refund money today, but you've torched your reputation. The source is clear. The responsibility has to sit with you, the provider. If a client says, I'm not happy, the check should practically be in the mail. No arguments.
That takes a lot of operational confidence.
It does. And that's why it works. The final one is credible.
Which just means it fits the context.
Yeah, it shouldn't sound like a gimmick. In a professional services setting, it needs to feel like a solemn promise between professionals, not some carnival barker's pitch.
You know, it's funny, when you talk about these bold guarantees, the example that always comes up is Domino's Pizza, the old 30 minutes or it's free.
The pizza paradigm. It's legendary for a reason.
But we always talk about the marketing side. What's interesting through this sales weapon lens is they didn't promise the best pizza.
No, they didn't. And that's a brilliant distinction. In a crowded market, they figured out the specific uncertainty that stopped people from ordering. It wasn't taste. It was hunger. Will I get my food before I starve? They guaranteed the result, fast delivery, not the quality of the product itself.
But there is a huge warning label on the Domino's story in the source material.
A big one. And this is vital for any leader listening. Domino's had to pull that guarantee.
Because of the lawsuits.
Right. Their drivers were speeding, running red lights, causing accidents, all to beat the clock. The lesson is simple. You cannot build a guarantee that forces your team to be unsafe or unethical. It has to be sustainable. If your guarantee burns out your staff or breaks the law, it's not a competitive weapon, it's a self-destruct button.
That actually segues perfectly into what I think is the hidden gem of this whole deep dive. We've been talking about the customer, how this helps them say yes. But the source material pivots to what a strong guarantee does internally.
Yes. For me, this is the real reason to do it. Even if it didn't increase sales, which it absolutely does, it would still be worth it just for the operational impact.
Explain that. I think most people see this as purely a marketing gimmick.
Well, think about what we just discussed. If you're a CEO and you put a policy in place that says, if the client complains, we refund the $50,000 fee, no questions asked, what happens to your management team?
They probably panic.
They panic, and then they get to work. It creates incredible focus. Suddenly, client satisfaction isn't some fluffy value on a poster. It's a hard financial reality. It attaches real financial consequences to failure.
So it's a forcing function for quality.
Precisely. It forces the whole team to clarify standards.
Yeah.
If the guarantee is based on a specific outcome, everyone knows exactly what the target is. There's no ambiguity.
And it probably stops the sales team from overpromising, right?
Oh, that's a huge point. If a sales rep knows that a bad fit client will trigger a refund, and maybe that refund comes out of their commission, they stop selling to people who shouldn't be buying. They start vetting for success.
So you stop dragging bad revenue into the company.
Correct. And then there's the feedback loop. In most companies, when a client is unhappy, they just leave. They churn. And you never really know why.
The silence again?
Silence. But with a powerful guarantee, they have an incentive to tell you what went wrong. They have to raise their hand to claim the remedy. That signal is pure gold. It shows you exactly where your process broke down so you can fix it.
So in a strange way, the guarantee protects the company from its own mediocrity.
That's the best way to frame it. It's an internal discipline tool disguised as a marketing tool.
Okay, let's look at a concrete example. Because pizza is one thing, but the sales experts, the authors here, they're in recruiting and consulting. High stakes, intangible stuff.
Right. It's hard to guarantee a person. Humans are unpredictable.
And yet, they have a guarantee that is, honestly, it's kind of terrifying. Let me read the wording. Our work is guaranteed to the complete satisfaction of the client.
Simple. Unconditional.
But wait for it. If the client is not completely satisfied, we will, at the client's option, either waive professional fees or accept a portion of those fees that reflects the client's level of satisfaction.
At the client's option. That's the key phrase.
That phrase gives me hives. You are handing the checkbook to the customer. You're letting them decide what your work was worth after it's done.
It's the ultimate risk reversal.
But isn't that just business suicide? What if they say, I'm 10% satisfied and pay you pennies?
But think about it. Why would a smart company like the Sales Experts do that?
Yeah.
They're not in the business of losing money. They do it because that extreme level of exposure forces them to be excellent. First, it forces them to vet their clients. They won't work with a company that seems likely to abuse that clause. Second, it forces them to define satisfaction with incredible clarity before any work starts. They have to sit down and say, okay, what does success look like to you specifically? And then they have to hit that mark.
It aligns the incentives perfectly.
And just think about the strategic value in a sales conversation. Imagine you're a hiring manager talking to 3 recruiters. The first 2 have a standard contract. But then the sales experts walk in and say, if you aren't happy, you decide what to pay us.
That conversation is over.
It's over. You've completely removed their risk. The other firms, by comparison, now look dangerous.
It makes the competition look like they're hiding something. Like, why won't you guarantee your work? Don't you believe in it?
Precisely. It turns the guarantee into that competitive weapon. It creates a huge gap between you and everyone else in the market.
But you have to actually be good at what you do.
That's the table stakes. You can't use this to mask a bad product. It'll bankrupt you. But if you are good, and you know you're good, this is how you prove it.
So let's bring this home for our listener. They run a sauce company, a marketing agency, whatever. They're thinking, this sounds great, but my board would never approve at the client's option.
And they might not. You don't have to go that far to get the benefit. But you do have to do something that hurts.
Something meaningful.
Yeah. Start by looking at where your deals stall. What are prospects afraid of? Is it implementation risk? Is it uptime? Is it the ROI? Build a guarantee that specifically targets that one fear.
And make sure it meets the criteria. Unconditional, easy to invoke.
And then ask yourself the hard question. If I'm not willing to guarantee this result, why am I selling it in the first place?
That's the kicker, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
If you aren't confident enough to back your work, why on earth should a buyer be confident enough to buy it?
It's a question of integrity as much as it is strategy.
It absolutely is.
So here's the challenge for everyone listening this week. Take a look at your current terms of service, your guarantee. Is it a weapon? Or is it a shield full of ifs, ands, or buts?
And if it is, try rewriting it just as an exercise. See what happens if you delete all the conditions. See how that makes you feel. If it scares you, you've probably just found a weak point in your operations that needs fixing.
That's a great exercise. And if you want to see the full text of how the sales experts structure their very bold guarantee, you can check out the source material over at thesalesexperts.com. It's really worth a read.
It is. It's a masterclass in copywriting for trust.
It really is. We hope this helps you remove a little bit of that uncertainty from your pipeline.
And it helps you achieve a little more sales success.
Exactly. Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you on the next one.